Technique No Treble. This is Ari with episode 52. You see me surrounded here today with all these beautiful basses, 4-string, 5-string, 6-string. And if you find yourself switching between different basses or adding a string, taking away a string or two, then today's episode is for you. It's all about calibrating yourself to get a feel for different distances between strings. Also, different feel of necks. You know, I have a lot of the same, all three of these basses are, four of these actually, are Marlowe concept basses. And they are, technically speaking, the same model. They still feel very different to me. You can set on these basses, you can set the string spacing. So I have it set to the exact same number, yet still they feel a little different. So every time I pick up a different bass and I switch a lot, I have to calibrate myself for a second. So I have a set of exercises for you to help you with that. If you have one bass and no matter how bad it is or how simple it is or how old it is, you can make that work. It's not in the gear. There's often too much gear talk. It's really here and here. So don't feel in any way that you can't be a great bass player because you might not be able to have a certain type of instrument. Okay, so I want to just very briefly address this hot button issue of how many strings, what's better, what's the one you're supposed to have. And we hear on one end of the spectrum, we see people being really impressed if a bass has more than 4 strings. And on the other hand, we see people going, oh, you should play guitar, only Jaco needed only 4 strings, So we've heard all these arguments, and I think they're very misguided because what it's all about is to pick the right tool for the right environment, for the right song. And I've been in situations where the requirement was extremely specific. You had to play flat wound with a pick, whatever it was. And maybe we're even handed a certain bass. And I've been in situations where the band did not care at all. You are the bass player. You decide what you think fits best. And it depends what your goals are. If you want to be somebody who gets calls because you are that well-known person in your area who does a certain style really well, then you do well to just figure out that one sound and stick with it. And if you rather want to be the person who gets a lot of studio calls, is known as the one who's versatile and can produce any and all types of different sounds, then I think these days it's important to have some sort of bass with a low B, to have a fretless, and to have a 4-string, maybe a Fender type 20 fret 4-string, as well as a 24, and maybe have flat wounds on one of your basses just in case that's needed. And I think if you have that arsenal, then you're pretty much ready to go for any kind of situation. And I choose to play 6-string on some of my own projects. I have a duo with Paul Hansen, electric bassoonist, where I play a lot of chords and where I get to tap, and I really like the layout of the 6 strings. So the 6-string has only 10 pitches more than the 4. The 5-string is only 5 more. But what the 6-string and the 5 to a certain extent enable you is to voice things differently because you have the same notes a couple of times, more available in different ranges. Some people also say you don't have to move. It's actually easier to play 5 or 6-string because you can move in one position and don't have to jump around. I don't think that's not true for me, but I can see where some people, might prefer not having to move up. Sure, that could be a choice to play 5 or 6-string for some of these situations too. So yeah, I do see that. But I think don't fret the gear so much. It's just one thing I want to say. But be more involved in practicing, And if you have one bass and that's all you have, there is a lot you can do with it. So don't feel like you have to have a whole bunch of basses. And all these exercises that I'm about to show you are they are great exercises for switching basses, 4, 5, 6, or a bunch of 4 strings or a bunch of 5 strings, but they are also great for just dexterity. So these exercises, I think, will help in any context. These exercises are designed to Get you comfortable with the string spacing of the particular bass that you are using. There's a PDF that comes with it. If you are watching this on YouTube, please go to the No Treble post and download the PDF. We have a link posted for you, so you can find that very easily. And so the way to read this, the PDF is there's a 4-string version, there's a 5-string version, and there's a 6-string version. And you choose the number of strings that you want to practice, and all the notes that are not needed are not existing in the tab. So you will you are not meant with this exercise to move out of position. That's really important. We're staying in one position and we're playing an arpeggio in G major. So we're just playing root, 3, 5, root, and 3. Okay? And so we're not moving up or down. So you could theoretically play, the high D, which we can hit in that same position on the 6th string. You could do that by moving, but this is not the purpose of the exercise. So I'm going to play through them all on a 4, then a 5, and then a 6th string. So here we go. So I play all the notes that are part of the G major arpeggio, the G major triad, in one position. So now I can go all the way from the D to the B. So now I can go from the D to the D all in one position. Which is really neat, 2 octaves. Two, 3, 4. So that's just the arpeggio up and down. When I move to the higher strings, I like to bring my thumb in. So my thumb moves from the E string to between the E and the A, so I have the thumb wedged in between the two. Here my thumb moves between the pickup, the B and the E, and sometimes the E and the A as well. Arpeggio number 1, now I can read the entire part. What number 2 is basically playing that arpeggio again, but I'm skipping one of the notes of the triad. So I'm going directly from the root to the 5 and then play the 3rd. Okay, so there's just a lot of string crossing going on here. Here is the first pedaling example where I'm pedaling with the root. And here's the second example with pedaling with the top root. And I recommend you really play this 1 finger per fret fashion. It's also a really good exercise for the left hand. As always, my warning, do not over grip the neck. Just keep a nice relaxed stance in your hand. If you feel you're cramping up, you're crawling into the bass, you're doing this sort of thing, just let your hand drop, let the blood return into the fingers, and then you come right back up and do it again. Keep the fingers close. If down here is too hard for you, 1 finger per fret style, then move it up. You can get there over time, but my hand is extremely relaxed, and that's really the ticket to be able to do 1 finger per fret in the lower registers. All these exercises are best done without looking at the fretboard. So if you start, looking at your right hand, it defeats the purpose a little bit. So you want to go slow and just feel where the notes are. That's the idea behind it. To me, when I pick up these different instruments, it feels like I'm driving a different car. Okay, this is the steering wheel is a little higher. Here's my, I drive stick shift, but here's my shift, and, that's where the pedals are. You kind of sort of, you settle the mirrors, you get settled, and these arpeggios help me do that. Thank you for watching. I'm at respaceblog.com. Please subscribe for free bass educational content in your inbox every week. I have written a book. I have a course out. I have a product out with TrueFire. So please check it out, respaceblog.com. Thank you very much for watching.